preventing those health problems. You know, all the money in the world can't buy us good health, can it?
No.
Yeah. So we need to find balance. So how do we find balance in this unbalanced world? Well, I just want to share a few ideas with you. If you would turn to me to Isaiah 26:3, is our scripture for today. Isaiah 26:3. It says, "Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee." And verse 4 even starts with, "Trust ye in the Lord forever." But I began to contemplate that perfect peace. How in the world do you find perfect peace? Yeah. And I'm saying I always practice all this myself, because a few nights ago I stayed awake worrying about somebody I love. You know, I started thinking about them, and I couldn't go to sleep thinking about him. And so I wasn't practicing what I think that we should practice, and that's trusting in the Lord. We got to learn to trust God. We got to learn to leave those things at the foot of the cross. Change the things we can, and then leave the things with God that we cannot change. It says, verse 4 says, "Trusting in the Lord forever." And then Proverbs 3, 5 and 6. If you turn there with me, Proverbs 3. You know, most of you already know this verse.
Okay.
"With all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths." How do we learn to trust in the Lord with all of our heart? How do we obtain peace? How do we get that? I would like to suggest to you that in this world of tragedy, tornadoes, floods, people being murdered in their own homes, children being abducted, and the list, you know, it just go on and on. There's so many tragedies, there's so many sad things, there's so many unfortunate things. That the only way you can have peace is if you find that trust in God with all your heart. I think that's the only way you can have it. If you learn to trust God with all of your heart, every ounce of your heart. And friends, you will not find it if you don't spend time with him. If you don't spend time with God, if you don't guard that time, whether it's the morning time for you, whether it's the evening time for you, whenever it is, if you don't guard that, think how we guard our children, especially in today's world. You know, we guard them. Did you guys see the challenge that was on TikTok for the schools? There was a TikTok challenge for the 17th of December that you would do a school shooting. That was a TikTok challenge. So we guard our children. A lot of people kept their children at home, so we guard our children. How we guard them, because we love them so much. But friends, we should guard our time with the Lord. We should guard it. It should be one of those things we guard the most, is our time with the Lord. Because if we don't have that, I don't think we're going to have peace. You know, Jeremiah 17:7 says, "Blessed is the man that trusts in the Lord, and whose hope the Lord is." We can be blessed by trusting the Lord. Blessed is the man, blessed is the woman, blessed is the teenager, blessed is the child. And no matter who you are blessed when you learn to trust God. Do you know that over 20 million adults and 3 million teenagers suffer from depression? That's a lot. I had a family member tell me just recently that they struggled most of their life from depression until they got to know Jesus. Changes things, doesn't it? Changes your whole world. Changes your whole life. So the number one way that I think you can find balance in this world is if you trust God and trust him with all your heart. And that trust will build as you begin to trust him more and more, and as you spend more and more time with him. So the second suggestion I have for finding balance in your life is monitoring what you put in your body. Yeah. Did you know that alcohol, smoking, and caffeine increase depression risk and their symptoms? So does a diet high in refined, fatty, and sugary foods. Refined fats and refined sugary foods are also linked to diabetes. Caffeine is also linked to an irritable heart and heart problems. Drinking 8 glasses of water a day instead of sugary drinks is a money-saving, mood-enhancing way to boost brain power, gives you energy, and it gives you a little more exercise too as you run to the bathroom. But that came from that little pamphlet. about balance. Turn with me, if you would, to Genesis 1:29. Genesis 1:29. What does God suggest that we put into our bodies? Which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for me. So what does God say we should eat? He says that the things we should put in our bodies should consist of fruit, seeds, beans, nuts, whole grains, vegetables. Those are the things He gave us in the beginning, and that we were originally designed to eat. I want to read you an article that I printed from Harvard Health Publishing. And the title of it is, How Many Fruits and Vegetables Do We Need? It says, we often talk about how diets rich in fruits and vegetables are good for your health, but how much do you need to average per day to reap rewards? Analysis from Harvard indicates that a total of 5 servings per day of fruits and vegetables offers the strongest health benefits. So the research was published just this year, and it pulled self-reported health and diet information from dozens of studies from around the world, which included about 2 million people who were followed up to 30 years. So this was a 30-year study and involved 2 million people. So listen to this. Compared with people who said they ate just 2 servings of fruits or vegetables each day to people who ate 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. So we're going to compare people who have 2 of fruits and vegetables a day compared to someone who has 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. So if you have 5 a day, you have a 13% lower risk of death from any cause whatsoever. You have a 12% lower risk of death from heart disease or stroke, a 10% lower risk of death from cancer, and a 35% lower risk of death from respiratory disease such as chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Wow. You know, I had a lady one time at the hospital. She was in her 40s, and she had severe disease and had it since she was in her 30s. She was diagnosed in the early 30s with COPD, with severe lung disease. And so the first thing I say, which is the first thing about 5 or 6 other doctors and respiratory therapists had said to her, is, have you been alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency tested? Because I bet you have alpha-1. And she goes, oh, I've been tested 5 times for alpha-1 because everybody thinks the same thing. Alpha-1, when you have alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, you can get respiratory disease at a very young age, and there's actually, there used to not be treatment for it, but there is now. But she said, no, I don't have alpha-1. She knew where I was going in the beginning when I first said it to her. And I just wondered, you know, she did smoke, but they're not even counting that as a factor in here. What they're counting as a factor is whether you're eating your 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. I found that to be quite interesting. It says fruits and vegetables are major sources of several nutrients that are strongly linked to good health, particularly the health of the heart and the blood vessels. Yeah. They are rich in potassium, magnesium, fiber, polyphenols, which are antioxidants from plant compounds. So it's high in all those. Now, understand that we're not talking about if you missed your fruits and vegetables today. We're talking about if you miss your fruits and vegetables every day. Because, you know, you have some days, I actually kind of yesterday, I thought, well, I'm going to have 3. But we should have 5. So then you try to make up for it on those other days, because we should have 5 a day. So what about, so there's fruits and vegetables, but what about nuts and seeds and whole grains? Why are they important? I have another article here. It's again from Harvard, and it's the benefits of a healthy diet with or without weight loss. And it says, with the obesity epidemic at an all-time high in the U.S., close to 70% of Americans are overweight or obese. Many people could benefit from losing weight. However, for numerous reasons, weight loss is challenging, isn't it? Weight loss is hard. It's very challenging. In addition, some people are tempted to choose a diet of the month or a plan that they have read about online or heard about from friends and family. But unfortunately, these diets are oftentimes not the most nutritious, and even some weight loss may not ultimately improve health. So if you're doing it in a poor way, you may not improve your health, even though you're losing weight. So is there any benefit from improving the quality of one's diet without weight loss? So The question is, without weight loss, could you be healthier? The answer is yes. And there's 3 randomized clinical trials here that have shown that by improving what you eat, you can improve your cardiovascular risk factors such as high blood pressure, your LDL, which is your bad cholesterol, and triglycerides, and improve your health. So instead of examining the evidence, so remember there's 3 randomized trials here. So the one study examined the effect of the DASH diet on blood pressure, and DASH is the dietary approaches to stop hypertension. That's specifically what it's for. Some of you have probably heard of it before, the DASH diet. The researchers recruited 460 overweight and obese adults with borderline high blood pressure. They provided the participants with food according to the DASH guidelines. The DASH diet is defined as low in saturated fat and dietary cholesterol, rich in potassium, magnesium, calcium, and fiber, emphasizing fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and low-fat dairy products, including fish, poultry, nuts, and seeds, and limiting red meat, sweets, and sugar beverages. To prevent any effect from weight changes on the results, the researchers regulated their calories so that they wouldn't have any weight gain or weight loss. And we know weight loss is all about calories, right? You got to take in less calories than what you burn in a day if you want. Did I say that right? Yeah, you got to take in less calories in a day than what you burn for weight loss. So they wanted to make sure these people stayed the same. So they kept track of their calories and make sure they didn't have any weight gain or weight loss. And at the end of the 11-week study, the participants' blood pressure was significantly reduced compared to their baseline blood pressure, just by going with that diet that God gave us in the beginning. So the second study looked at the already very healthy DASH diet, and then they added sodium limits. And these participants, by changing nothing but salt, reached better goals than the doctors could with adding medicine.
Yeah.
By taking the salt out. Isn't that amazing? So then the third study examined whether changing a few components of the original DASH diet could result in even greater improvement in risk factors. This study, called the OMNI-HEART, or the Optimal Macronutrient Intake to Prevent Heart Disease, examined 164 overweight and obese adults with hypertension or stage 1 hypertension and replaced some of the carbohydrates in the DASH diet with either healthy protein from fish, nuts, beans, and legumes, or unsaturated fats from gain or oil, nuts, avocado, and nut butters. And again, the calories were kept neutral, so they wouldn't gain or lose. And the results show that substituting healthy protein or healthy fats for some of the carbohydrate lowered LDL bad cholesterol health because it helps balance water levels, maintain healthy skin, hair, and nails, improve bone health, strengthen bones, prevent tooth decay, aid in blood clotting, help to carry oxygen, support the immune system, and support healthy blood pressure. Yeah, they got a big job too. Protein, what do? They ensure the growth and development of muscles, bones, hair, and skin, form antibodies, hormones, and other essential substances, serve as a fuel source for cells and tissues. You know, I could continue on and on the list and what these do for you, but I think you guys did the point, right? Yeah. So where do we get all these essential nutrients that we need? We already read it, Genesis 1:29. We get it from those simple, basic foods that God gave us in the beginning. You know, this last week, my respiratory boss is retiring, and they were having a brunch. So I went. Of course, I'd already ate breakfast. I wouldn't have ate anything anyways, but I couldn't help but look at the table. And all of them were either cinnamon rolls or these pastas. They were all white and loaded with sugar. And I heard that saying, having sugar whiter the bread, the quicker you're dead. Well, the reason they say that is because if you fill up with white bread, then you did not fill up with any of those 116 essential nutrients that you need for the day. So, makes sense that way? Yeah. And I know you've heard the saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Yeah. Did you know that an apple is the most nutritious food in existence?
Yeah.
It is the most nutritious food that's in existence. Let me read to you some of the health benefits of of apples. And this is by Fatty Health. It says whiter, healthier teeth, avoid Alzheimer's. Those apples when we get old, we should eat them all the time. Protect from Parkinson's. A defender against cancer. Helps to keep us from getting diabetes. Did you know that? An apple a day helps keep you from getting diabetes. Helps to lower your cholesterol. A stronger and healthier heart. Strengthens your immune system. And cataracts, it listed here, and this is exactly what it says. The cataracts will be a thing of the past.